Hello, my name is Adrienne Abdus-Salam. This session will be covering how to structure classes with students who have varying levels of technical proficiency. As you are aware, oftentimes in public schools, specifically in high school and middle school, you will have students who are not on the same level in one dance class. This specifically happens a lot in our middle school connections because each class is segmented by 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. But as you well know, that a student can be in 8th grade and not be advanced, and a student can be in 6th grade and not necessarily be a beginner. So what are the things that you can employ as an educator to make sure that not only every student in the class is getting what they need, but also to ensure that you are providing the accurate amount of rigor and instruction to each student based off of their technical proficiency and understanding that they are entering the space with. So a few things that I do. One, I work a lot in small groups. In classes where I have mixed levels, I have found it to be invaluable to empower my higher performing students to be leaders. So oftentimes I will make groups that are comprised of my beginners as well as a few advanced students, and they will work together. This provides a safe, small environment for students to engage in learning from each other, as well as feeling comfortable because you are working with your peer and you're having that peer-to-peer instruction. A lot of times people are hesitant to put students in leadership roles that require them to teach or instruct because they often feel like the needs of that accelerated student are being negated, but they're not. Each student is an individual with different needs. So that accelerated student, while they may have the physical proficiency to be able to accurately perform the technical movements that they're being required to do, they may not have the best cognitive capability. And we know that a well-rounded dancer has both. They have the kinesthetic ability and the cognition to not only physically do everything that they're being called to do, but to also be capable of verbally explaining what they're doing. True applicational mastery is shown if you have the ability to teach, because teaching shows that you are understanding things on a deeper level. And a lot of times, our higher performing students do have that level, but they need a little bit more help with it. So this provides them an opportunity to think about things in a deeper way. For instance, most students who are really, really skilled and talented physically and can adequately perform the movement, they don't really know at a younger age everything that's going into being able to do that plie or that battement. They just know they can do it. But when you have to teach it, you have to think, oh wow, what all is engaged? What is going into performing this movement? So it's really helping them to think about things on a deeper level, which is just helping them to excel overall in their performance, in their artistry, and most importantly, in their understanding. So I have found that to be invaluable. The other thing that I do is when I'm teaching in the center of the room, oftentimes I create two different movement phrases. So when I'm teaching a jazz class and I want to do a small combination, I may do jazz square, kickball change, pirouette. So, our class sizes are small, so we try to get a lot into each exercise. Well, if my focus of the exercise are the pirouettes, oftentimes the pirouettes get higher and higher. We may start off with quarter turns, then half turns, then singles, doubles, triples for my advanced students. And I may structure the class where I have all of my higher performing students on one side of the room, and then I have my lower performing students on another side. And I will have them go, group A go, group B go, but we're all on the floor together. When group B goes, the lower performing students or underperforming students, I will modify the expectation. Instead of them having to do doubles and triples, they will just simply do quarter turns, half turns, full turns. Sometimes we may not even get to full pirouettes. Sometimes it may just be holding in passe releve so that they can really strengthen the core and get their alignment together and be capable of sustaining a pirouette. Another thing that I employ is when working on performance or choreography. And this can be really tricky. To create an ensemble piece or group choreography of any sort and you have varying levels, it's going to be difficult. But I have found that it's very easy if you teach everyone a baseline combination, right? This is the base. Everybody's going to learn this. And you may call this phrase A. And it is comprised of movements that everybody can do. From this phrase A, when you get ready to work with your accelerated learners, you are going to make another variation and you're going to modify phrase A. And what that can look like is if in phrase A, you were doing battements, you may now turn that to a fan kick. You may now have it be a saut de chat or a grand jeté. If you had in phrase A, the original choreography that they were doing a single attitude turn. For the accelerated learners, you may make it a double attitude turn. You may have a double attitude turn into a figure 4 turn. And on the other end, when you get ready to modify phrase A to make another variation for our lower performing students, you can, instead of a grand jeté or saut de chat, make it a battement. If it was already a battement, maybe now it's just a tendu. If there was a situation where there was any jumping, you may keep it grounded. You may play with timing. With the accelerated learners, you can make things go faster. So the original phrase might be right here. For the accelerated group, take it up. For the lower performing group, half tempo. And this small timing trick really does help the students. For our developing, well, they're all developing, but for our lower performing students, what it will do is by decreasing the pace, you're allowing them to retain and recall the sequence of the phrase. At the same time, they're able to employ the technique that you've already introduced to them in a way that can be more challenging when you're still in that very beginning stage and you're just trying to understand your body and what needs to happen. It can be very difficult for you to put all those things into gear in a very quick way. So those are some tips that you can use in choreographic strategies. Now, let's talk about assessments. You have a group with varying degrees of technical proficiency and dance knowledge in one class. How do we create fair assessments that are really going to show what the students know, their level of proficiency, as well as what we need to do to help them get to the next level? What I do a lot of times is, whenever possible, I do a performance exam as well as a written exam. So if you're introducing terminology, you can, in small groups or one by one, have each student come in. You as the instructor will say, do a plie, they perform that movement. Then after that portion is over, you can do a written exam in which you call out, just like you would a spelling class or something, you would call out tendu, and they have to write the definition, not the description. They have to notate to stretch. And so what you'll find in this space is that a lot of times the accelerated students do really great on the performance exams. However, they really struggle on the written exams, because a lot of times what happens with our accelerated students is they know how to do the step, but they may not know what it's called, and they may not know the definition. They just know how to do it. Whereas our beginner students, well, they don't have that physical capability, so they're really deep into their cognition. They can tell you the definition, they can identify the step, they just may not be doing it right. So this creates an opportunity for, again, students to really see where they are fluctuating in what their strengths and weaknesses are. It allows for you as the instructor to know what area you need to help with to get those individual students on the next level. And it also reinforces the importance of cognition as well as kinesthetics. You must be able to verbalize what you can do. Well, that's it for today. I hope this is helpful. See you next time.